Mr. Estell, Mrs. VanSant, our first question is, how did you and your significant other meet at our continuing care retirement community?
We met when I found out that Bill Estell was a graduate of the Naval Academy, and I knew that my young grandson was tentatively interested in the Naval Academy. So at exercise, I asked two ladies residents from RWC whether Mr. Estell or Captain Estell would mind my asking him some questions. And they both said, oh, no, he's very personable. So I asked him the question. We also met in the RWC pub for a glass of wine separately. And he realized that I was a grandmother asking about the Naval Academy. And that's how we met.
I got a great deal of flack because when I went in, we had talked on the phone about getting together, we could do it sometime, and I'd be happy to tell her anything she wanted. And we were going to go to the pub. And so when we went to the pub, I went up to her and said, are you the grandmother who is looking for, and everybody said, you don't call him grandma. Well, she's a grandmother, that's how
I didn't find that offensive at all.
No. And the next thing was, of course, she knew about Belle, and so I suggested, would you like to walk with us in the morning? We walk twice a day, actually. We do about 4.5 to 5 miles, and so I'd love to do that. So every morning, she would come and we'd go walk, and it just got to the point where Belle, actually the reason we stayed together so early is because we both were in love with the same dog.
Well, that's a great story.
And that's continued because Melena comes over every morning about 6:30 and we're out by 6:45 making a round around. And we love to come down to the parking lot because everybody knows Belle and they all stop and wave and say, hi Belle, how are you today? And she, she's looking for a treat, of course.
All right, and our second question is, what attracted you to each other and what has kept your relationship strong while living in our community?
Well, of course, Belle is a central interest here, but the other thing I think is our backgrounds and the experiences that we've had in the past. We have a common understanding of what's going on in the world. Melena has much more experience with that than I do, but it's just we enjoy each other's company. We have common interests, and it's just been a very, very pleasant relationship since the beginning.
We laugh not only at our own foibles, but also at each other. And when I say at each other, it's really with each other. There's a sense of humor, a lot of joy in this relationship.
I don't think anybody in RWC laughs as much as we do. We're constantly, but that's good. It's healthy.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It's healthy. But I think overall, it's the ambiance of RWC and the wonderful family relationship that we have with not only the residents but the staff.
Yes.
And that's the one thing that when I talk to and I harass people that you're bringing through to give them an opportunity, that's the wonderful thing about this campus. It's because it is so encompassing and so helpful. And the other thing is we have all the time in the world to do things because we're not burdened by tasks. You don't have to cut the grass, you don't have to run, that type of thing. Needless to say, I'm happy here.
Oh, needless to say, I also am.
Oh, we love to hear that. So how has living in a continuing care retirement community impacted your relationship?
My feeling is it's enhanced it because we have the opportunity. We see each other every day. Melena is over here for every meal, basically, and it's just, but it's just the opportunity. Like I said, we have the opportunity to be together and with friends, and it's just the ambiance that we're having here, and it's a wonderful situation, I think.
Yes, we can go and partake of meals with others in the grill, or we can bring food here and we put on our fake candles and have a glass of wine and talk. And so both aspects of that are just so conducive to continuing our beautiful relationship.
Very well said.
We have, that's the common interest we have, interest in each other and interest in every other things. And we communicate beautifully together. She tells me when I'm wrong, which is most of the time.
Women do that. And we are always right?
Of course.
So what activities and amenities have you enjoyed together in our community?
Well, we both exercise avidly, and it's...
Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays.
And we attend events, of course, that RWC presents to us. We go to private parties that other residents have, you know, glass of wine, and then we go to the grill. We walk, as has been pointed out. We walk daily, long walks, long conversations. And I would like to add at this point that what ignited my initial interest in this gentleman was when we were walking Belle, and she ran around us, and the leash wrapped around the two of us, and I thought, oh, this is very nice.
Even Belle is on board.
You two are a Hallmark movie.
But I just, like I said before, there are a plethora of activities that are available. No matter what your interest is, there's something here for you, whether it's a concert or a presentation or a lecture or anything in the Life Enrichment Center. There's just so many things. It covers every interest that I can possibly think of.
Great. So how have you and your significant other stayed connected with friends and family while living in our community?
That has been very easy for me because as you remember and I remember when we first came here, you were sitting at the table with Lauren, and this was your first, I think, the first interview with anybody that was there. I remember it specifically. And Marty was, my daughter, was the prime mover to get me out of that house over there. I was rattling around by myself for almost 2.5 years. And we came here and sat down and had the thing with you and Lauren. And she has had such a great relief that I am here and being so well taken care of. She's retired from the State Department, and she's working on a program that they've got for about interns. But she lives in Alexandria, so it's a close relationship. Marty comes down about every 3 weeks just to visit and to see all of her friends down here. But basically, it's just once she got me here, and she realized the community that I was living in and the people that I could just see the sigh of relief. In fact, I had just a little personal history. I had an infection in my foot, and Chris came over every day and we went through this. And I didn't mention anything to her about it. And Jan Mosier, very good friend, made some comment to Marty about, your dad's on antibiotics and he hoped, and she called me and said, yeah, you didn't tell me you were on antibiotics. And I said, honey, I didn't want to worry about you. And she said, I don't worry about you anymore. I said, what? But it's been, I have a son up in Connecticut that comes down about every 6 weeks or so, and we spend 3 or 4 days down here. And basically that's and we had my favorite daughter-in-law and my granddaughter came down and spent a weekend, and they stayed in the guest apartment, which was very, very nice. So there are all those amenities. The guest apartment, I think, the apartments are a real asset for people coming from out of town, and I'm sure they're well used as well.
Well, for me, my closest family live in Roanoke, and they have children in their teens, and they're so active, it's very hard for them to come. But we stay in constant touch, and they too are very much relieved to know that their old mother is having, in her 80s, one of the best times, if not the best time of her life.
I didn't
And
pay her
don't
to
roll
say
your eyes.
So the families have been close and very appreciative of, and I think, I must say, the strongest thing I think is the medical, is the health center and the medical staff, this is the last place I'm going to live. And I know, and that's why I'm such a great supporter of the scholarship fund, because I think we're going to grow our own as far as the healthcare workers. And I think that's a tremendous asset that we're constantly building on. But I think that's the focus. I mean, it's a beautiful campus. It has everything you want to offer, but the center is right there in the health center, is right in the health capability with the medical staff, doctors and staff. And now that we've added the memory center, that's even a greater asset.
Mhm. And then lastly, what advice would you have for others looking for love in a continuing care retirement community?
Well, I would say keep an open mind, keep an open heart, be unafraid to approach a possible relationship, explore it, and if you see it come to fruition, be grateful. Because it's a beautiful, beautiful thing for anybody our ages. We've all experienced losses in our lives.
Yeah.
To have that companionship, that relationship is beyond beautiful.
And I told you how we discovered it and how it started with us, and everybody's going to have a different aspect of this. But if you just pay attention and meet as many people as you can. I go out of my way to try to meet people and understand, what's going on, just because I'm nosy and I'm interested. But that's an excellent way to do it as well. And the more activities that you attend, the more things that you do, the more contact that you have with other, it's kind of an eccentric thing. It'll come together.
Wonderful. Is there anything else you'd like to add? I think you covered a lot.
Well, I would say that being in one's 80s and being on a love blog is an achievement of a lifetime.
Well, I have to second that, I guess.
Oh, you better.
Well, thank you so much.
I hope this has been helpful and not too drawn out, but yeah, I hope everybody that comes with, and we have so many people here. I was counting the single women that live in freestanding houses, and it's amazing. And I'm not sure they're all looking for love, but it's a matter of just being yourself and finding someone with common interest.